I'm Jake. Here's Lyle. There's Dad. There's Brad on the phone arguing with Dad over the phone. There's brother Josh. We'll see you next week. Go Lions, one pride. Brad, sign us out.
Well, I was just going to finish saying I just and Mahomes. Well, Andy.
Outside the den, inside the barn, Motor City Pride. We've been waiting long. Mic check 1 2. Podcast booth tight. Been breaking down plays every Sunday night. From the den, we step to the bar, we roll. Analyzing film clips, how the story's told. Lions on the rise.
All right, welcome One Pride to episode 7, going into week 7 of Outside the Den,
Inside the Barn.
A podcast made by us Lions fans for y'all who are Lions fans or just fans of the NFL, or honestly anybody who's just found this on their in their feed for any reason. I'm Jake. Right next to me is cousin Lyle. Over there is my brother Josh. We will be hearing from me and Josh's dad, Steve, with his crazy play of the game later on in the program. But first of all, I think I know the answer to this one, guys. But how you feeling after that Sunday night game we just had?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, obviously disappointing the way that I think it turned out. But, this is the NFL. This is a team, they went into a place where there was a team that was desperate to get a win. They're a high-class organization, a lot of success. And, I think that it was one of those games where we were trying to seize the momentum. It felt like, we were dictating that game, and then it kind of got away from us a little bit in the middle part of that game. And there's a few different varying reasons why, and we can talk about that later on. But, that's what happens is that the other team, they start to seize the momentum. They start to dictate some of the play. You're not able to answer at that point, and unfortunately, it's going to be a loss. I don't think it's anything to hang your heads about. It's a loss at Arrowhead, Chiefs Stadium Sunday night. But just got to get ready and make sure that you don't let one loss turn into 2 or more after that.
Yeah. Would you like me to go next, Josh?
If you'd like to, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I agree. One thing, and we might need to close up on Josh to see an eye roll when I say this. Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the NFL since Tom Brady. Although for many years I thought it was Peyton Manning was the best of all time, but when Tom Brady won is with the Buccaneers, that is one without Bill for the Buccaneers. That's when I finally relented to my buddy TJ. Shout out TJ, Patriots fan, that Tom Brady is the GOAT. But I mean, Mahomes is good. Kelsey is declining, but he's still good. Andy Reid is still maybe the best coach in football. And as you said, primetime game. The Chiefs and Lions both fantastic in primetime for the last however many seasons. They get a lot of primetime games. They're familiar with it. Obviously, I think we all felt a certain type of way how the most penalized team, being the Chiefs, didn't receive a single called flag that was at least accepted. I think they had one flag thrown against them that was declined because
in garbage time.
In garbage time. Ding. But yeah, it was just a very tough game. It was going to be a tough game with even though the Chiefs have a somewhat depleted receiving room, the corners for us, we were missing 5 of our top 6 corners going into this game. We had a banged up Kirby Joseph who, got a pretty significant injury, as well as that's funny. We're already talking about game review and how we're doing, so we'll just combine the two.
Yeah.
I just realized that. But yeah, no, it was a tough game to watch, a tough game to stomach, and obviously, I think a lot of us felt fairly confident, except for you, who predicted them in preseason. But that was a good call on your part. Shame on you.
I already took it down.
It down.
We're on to the Bucs, but
yeah. But yeah, no, it was definitely a frustrating one, and very not a great way to go into the work week. Right? Those primetime games are awesome because you get to see them on national television, but then if the worst happens, then you have to go into that first day on a Monday. Like, we're all like Garfield, right? We enjoy our lasagna. We hate Mondays, right? But yeah, so I know for sure. This week's been tough. I've been relatively off of sports social media because I personally, and I saw a TikTok about this, so I'm not going to claim this kind of comment. But, last week we saw, excuse me, Colin Cowherd, talk about Goff being a future Hall of Famer. And I had no desire after hearing Goff finally get some flowers in the sports world to all of a sudden now hear, wow, he's a civilian running this offense, when statistically over the last couple seasons he is arguably a top 2 to 3 quarterback in the National Football League. So just not wanting to hear it. And I wanted to see more about the Brian Branch stuff. Obviously, what he did after the game warrants a suspension. Any player does that should be suspended. The game has no reason for that. But, if you really dive down deep into it, which I'm sure Josh will want to touch on very briefly,
maybe not so briefly.
but it's under, if anyone's played a sport or been competitive, or even worked in like customer service, when you feel like you're being disrespected as much as you have, at some point you snap, and it just, my mom, Judy, love you, Mom, hope you're watching, but she made a comment of like, oh, well, what is Juju going to get? He said something, and I told her, it's always going to be whoever retaliates is who's going to get the worst punishment, and he might get fined for his crackback block on Branch, block in the back, late block in the back, but they're not going to fine him or suspend him for anything he may have said. They can't prove that he said anything unless Branch was mic'd up and they turned that evidence
Or
over.
all those, microphones, the
Yeah.
parabolic mics on the field.
Exactly.
That I'm sure they had on them.
They probably do, but at the end of the day, they're gonna look at the guy who had the dude on the ground being held back by like 7 different guys, still beating him, over actually finding the guy that just said something probably incredibly demeaning and rude. But whatever. That is how I'm feeling. Frustrated, but I am very much looking forward to the 2 weeks from now, the bye week, but especially this upcoming Monday night game against the Buccaneers in Detroit. Josh, how are you feeling, my friend?
Okay, well,
A big brother.
Didn't really want to get into this, but just because of walking at lunch and listening to one of my favorite comedians and then having access to AI, I had to go this route. I need a prop for this as protection. Just a second.
Twilight season.
Now, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but the NFL officiating in the Chiefs-Lions game was so one-sided it made the Roman Senate look bipartisan. From misholding calls to a phantom illegal motion, it felt like the refs were auditioning for a cameo in the Patrick Mahomes show. Okay, folks, strap in because I'm about to go full Dennis Miller here, and it's going to get more tangled than a Christopher Nolan plotline. Watching the officiating in the Chiefs-Lions game Sunday night was like watching the refs play a game of Where's Waldo, except for Waldo was every penalty the Chiefs committed and the officials were legally blind. It wasn't just a bad call. It was a full-blown episode of The Sopranos minus the gabagool and plus a suspicious amount of yellow flags that never flew. Let's start with the fact that the Chiefs were not flagged once. Not once. That's like saying the cast of Jersey Shore went on an entire season without a bar fight. Come on. The week before, they racked up 13 penalties against the Jags, but suddenly they're cleaner than a Mormon prom? I haven't seen a turnaround that suspicious since Lance Armstrong's blood work came back totally normal. You see, when the refs missed blatant holding calls, let Mahomes taunt like he was auditioning for a villain role in Cobra Kai, and then wiped out a perfectly executed Lions touchdown with a ticky-tack illegal motion call that felt like it was pulled from the Da Vinci Code, you start to wonder, is this football or a rigged Vegas magic act? Jared Goff orchestrates a trick play so smooth it could have been choreographed by Fred Astaire in cleats. The Lions score a touchdown, Lions fans go wild, and then crickets. No flags, no whistles, just a bunch of zebras huddling like they're trying to solve the Zodiac cipher. It took them longer to overturn that touchdown than it took Nolan to explain the plot of Tenet. The refs decided to call it back for a motion infraction so obscure it probably required a Ouija board to interpret. That wasn't officiating. It was interpretive dance. Meanwhile, Travis Kelce gets away with a blatant hold, and Mahomes celebrates a touchdown by flexing and taunting Brian Branch like he's auditioning for a WWE heel turn. No flag. Apparently taunting is only penalized if you're not on NFL's golden team. I haven't seen favoritism that blatant since Simon Cowell tried to make One Direction happen. And let's not forget the block in the back by Juju Smith-Schuster that Branch called out postgame. It was so obvious Stevie Wonder could have spotted it from the press box, but the refs? Crickets. It's like they were too busy checking their fantasy lineups to notice the Chiefs were treating the rule book like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Look, I get it. Mahomes is the NFL's poster boy, and the Chiefs are the league's cash cow. But when officiating starts to look like a Marvel script, where the heroes never lose and the villains, read everyone else, gets vaporized, you got a problem. The Lions didn't just lose to the Chiefs. They lost to a zebra squad that looked like they were sponsored by State Farm. And that's where the racketeering vibes come in. I'm not saying Roger Goodell is sitting in a smoky back room stroking a cat like Blofeld, but when one team gets 0 penalties and the other gets their momentum surgically removed by officiating that looks like it was sponsored by FanDuel, you start to feel like you're watching Ocean's 11 Arrowhead Edition. The Chiefs aren't just winning. They're getting the kind of help that makes you think the league's got a futures bet riding on Mahomes' jersey sales. So, to the NFL officiating crew from Sunday night, if you're going to keep calling games like that, at least wear red and gold stripes so that we know where your loyalties lie. Because right now, you're making the WWE look like a bastion of competitive integrity. If the season keeps trending like this, don't be surprised if the Lombardi Trophy comes with a disclaimer. Results may be influenced by officiating, marketing strategy, and whims of the league office. Viewer discretion is advised. And of course, that's just my opinion, and pretty much everyone who's not a Chiefs fan. I could be wrong.
And so that's how you feel, huh, Josh?
Just a tad bit. And the funny thing is with the watch parties, my family's kind of a little disappointed because it needs to be a happy moment, have some, fun, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think during the watch parties, I'm going to be more, supportive, more happy. I'm not going to sit and pout like I was. I'll just save it for the show.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Never mind how we're feeling.
That's right.
Never mind the negativity we have in our day.
Josh's, what's really grinding my gears moments that are going to be coming on here. So can't wait for that.
And we liked it.
Yeah. But since we kind of combined the game review with how we're feeling, really briefly, just have to admit it, Lions on Sunday Night Football this past week did unfortunately fall to the Kansas City Chiefs, 30-17. Pretty close game at the start. Feeling really good after that first drive, but
first couple drives actually.
First couple drives felt pretty good. We'll get into some more details on that later, but or at least small things that happened in that, specifically regarding, say, the lock of the game and the Cousin Lyle's Casino as well. But regardless, at the end, sort of started to kind of fall away from us. I think a lot of us, because
Brad Kachik.
There he is.
It's breaking now, or was it breaking then? It's breaking bread. Okay.
On the line, we have Breaking Brad. Brad, what news do you have that we already know?
Actually,
I'm sure you guys talked about McNeil playing, so that's a big thing.
not
Not
really.
officially.
Yeah,
Not officially.
we were still doing review. We hadn't really gotten to next week.
Yeah. So
Oh, gotcha.
And just as a little spoiler, you might want to listen because the Sopranos get mentioned. I know you're a big Sopranos fan.
all right, yeah. So Brad, really quick 2 cents on Sunday Night Football before you talk about some of the big news that happened this past week, because it sounds like the Lions may be getting a couple bit of reinforcements. But yeah, quick 2 cents on the game Sunday night. How you feeling?
I think it really come down to just a couple of plays because, the one, I'm sure you guys talked about this, the St. Brown drop right before the half.
No,
That was like a 10 to – what's that?
We didn't get into that one yet, but he
Yeah,
on his
that's-
on his podcast he already kind of took that one to heart.
But take it away, Brad.
Yep.
Take it away.
I was just saying that, that was like a 10 to 14 point swing because if he catches it, at the very least, you probably get a field goal, and then you also can run out the clock, which then prevents Kansas City from getting a touchdown. So that was just a huge swing. And then obviously Hutch's fumble was great, but we didn't get it. So there's a few plays that just made a huge difference in that game. And I'll say this too, and Dan Campbell, I remember the days of the Lions where we just get, screwed this call, and you kind of pissed off all week about it. Dan Campbell's kind of changed that mentality where you don't really think about those things. But in the end, I mean, with no penalties
For some
and,
Lions fans.
For some Lions.
Yeah.
For some Lions fans.
Maybe
Others
maybe,
I still
maybe the
haven't-
people that are there in the
Not for season ticket holders. Some season ticket holders during that 07
That
season.
sit in the third seat
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
but anyway, the fact they got no penalties, the fact they took that touchdown away, which I still haven't heard a clean explanation of why. Because Goff was under the impression he had to put his hands under center, which he did not do. So I haven't heard a clean explanation that is correct.
And you won't.
I've only, so it's like there were some things that just stuck out, and it is what it is. But I think in the end, it's just like the Lions are still a damn good team. They do got a rebound here, though, and I know you guys want to talk about that later, but they do got a rebound here because, Tampa Bay, there's a few games left in the season. Tampa Bay, Washington, maybe Washington, but Eagles and Rams. I see those games as potential tiebreakers for the seeding. So those are ones you're going to want to take care of. And this is a big one. And this is the only one you have at home, too. So you got to take care of this one. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, they open up as 4.5 favorites, right? Unless that's changed.
It has changed slightly.
Has it? What
At
do we
least
know?
according to ESPN, but we'll talk about that when we get to the lock.
When we get to that, okay. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. New York's calling. I'm just going to let that go to voicemail. Apparently, they didn't like what I had to say.
All right.
Anyways.
They can't find us.
Not what I say. I was protected. I was wearing a prop.
They can just send the Pinkertons, right? But yeah, so cool. All right, and Brad, what do you think of the recent signing this week? Pretty significant free agent out there in the pool.
I'm talking about the corner.
Correct, Fuller.
Yeah, I was reading about him, and I was almost like, where's this guy been? How is he not on a team right now? Because he's got quite a good resume there. It makes you wonder why he's not on a team right now. So.
Well, he is
We'll
now.
see, though. But
Well, I think,
I
think there was obviously. I think he had some concussion concerns there pretty recently, and obviously I think he's also going to be looking to choose his spot a little bit. I think that he would want to go to a contender, somebody that he could really help out with, and I think that that's a good spot for him. So I think there's a couple of different things at play there. That went into it, but yeah, hopefully he's somebody that can come in and get up to speed pretty quickly and help out because we definitely have a need there.
Yeah, and just really quickly,
I don't think he played bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what were you saying, Brad?
I don't think this corner's really played all that bad though in the game. I think they you got to expect they're going to make some plays. I mean, it's Kansas City and again, how many times did they get him in? They got him. They were 2 for 3 on 4th down, and there were some 3rd downs. That they just got bailed out. Like the pass. What was it? The holding or pass interference call that kept the drive alive early in the game. I mean, there's some things that.
Committed by the
I don't know.
corners.
Like I didn't see anything like really, really bad. Like somebody got just toasted.
So I think
I
think the problem is that when you have the backup cornerbacks in, the tendency there was for the defense to play a lot more zone than they're used to, and so they're going into zone. So you're taking that pressure off of the cornerbacks because now you're not matched up man to man. You're not going to see somebody's going to get burnt on that kind of a play. So you're playing more zone, but it's giving those cracks, those areas, and Patrick Mahomes was exploiting it all night. And I think the thing was you weren't seeing a lot of 3rd downs at all from them because they were picking up 1st downs on 1st or 2nd down for the middle part of that series, especially when they went on that touchdown run between the 2nd and the 3rd quarter. So I think, it's not a situation where you can point to somebody and say, man, you really didn't do your job there. But if you look at the overall scheme and what they had to do, their play was a lot less effective than it usually is because they had to go to a style of defense they're not usually playing.
Yeah, they play a really aggressive style. I mean, you see that even in the way that the corners DJ Reed and Terry Arnold play. An aggressive man-to-man. Will draw flags, but at the same time, you're not getting really burnt or picked apart too much, right? Like you may let up a big play here and there. The Lions do tend to do that, but play really aggressive, and they do have to play when they have lesser players, and they do have to play a little bit more conservative. And once again, there's a reason why Travis Kelce gets these option routes, especially in zone coverage, because Mahomes is so good at finding literally anybody as long as they're open, and sometimes when they're being held by players, to get those flags. So it's just you get a quarterback with the vision that he has, a defensive scheme that really is not very complimentary, is very complimentary of his play style, that you're kind of strong-armed into playing just based off of the personnel you have. But, just kind of rattling up some stuff about Kendall Fuller right here. 9-year NFL veterans, played in some big games, won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of years back. A little fun fact for you. Has started over 104 games in his career. And, he was cut from the Dolphins in the same way Jordan Poyer was. Kind of an older vet, cut from – I think he was actually also cut from the Dolphins too. I remember that now. But, they saved him over $3 million in cap space, which the Dolphins, every poor kind of team needs, because they need to figure out a way to, build that into better players. He's averaged, take this for what you will. I know there's a big conversation on PFF at the moment. A lot of former players, Chris Long specifically on his podcast, called out PFF. But he's accumulated PFF grades over every season of his career except for last year in 2020. But once again, he's guarded some of the best players. He's played in the biggest games, and I'd rather have him than some of the guys that we are kind of forced to bring off the practice squad, or as last year, as we saw, kind of sign off the street, right? So pretty big. Not the biggest player on the team, but he does primarily focus on outside corner, which is kind of where we need him at this point in time. And then as well, Brad, if you want to talk about a certain defensive tackle coming back, it sounds like he's playing this week.
Yeah, I love Dan Campbell's response.
Do you want to quote him on it?
He's freaking playing, man.
Yeah.
Big Mac attack is back.
Return.
Yeah.
Mac. Sing along.
But it's with him. Dan Campbell also said how well Reeder played in that Kansas City game, and we've seen some good things from Williams. So don't get me wrong, McNeil is probably a top 3, top 4 defensive tackle in the whole league
when he's healthy.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing him. But isn't it weird how it's flipped? At the start of the year, we had a lot of confidence in the secondary. We had a lot of confidence in the linebackers. And we were just a little bit worried about the defensive line. Will Hutchinson be Hutch, which he definitely is.
Oh yeah.
And then who's going to be opposite? Yeah, and so now it's like, man, we're loaded at the defensive line. We're just loaded right now at the defensive line with potentially guys coming back. I know they're saying that Davenport's going to be a little while, but I think Pascal's still. Getting there, and then, but Muhammad, that was a great stat that Calvin shared about how all these players, he's got more sacks than some of the best players. And now, is this guy going to look for a big contract? But now it's the secondary that we're worried about. But again, we're going to be without Branch, so hopefully Kirby can play. And I have a lot of confidence in Robertson, Sin, and this new guy, and so I think they'll be okay. I think that, and of course the Bucs, they're pretty banged up at wide receiver,
and offensive line.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some cracks there. It'll be an interesting matchup.
And they got the home field advantage coming up. Tampa Bay's been in Detroit. They know what it's like. But
we'll talk more about it in the pregame or the game preview, but. Once again, I was talking on the phone with my buddy the other day. The Lions have a lot of injuries. Tampa Bay has a ton of injuries as well. They got 2 very good quarterbacks. They're arguably the top 2 teams in the NFC right now, arguably. And so it should make for a pretty good game. I
got to say, Tampa Bay, I think they're a little overrated right now, because if you look at what they've actually done, they've beaten some bad teams
So
on the
the
last
Lions.
minute.
Right.
So of the
Right.
Lions.
You know what I mean?
You can
Yeah,
flip that
but
argument
Lions
around,
beat them
yeah.
by 40. Like they whooped the Bears. They whooped the Bengals and if you look, the first 4 wins for the Buccaneers were all in the last minute of the game, and they were playing like the Saints, and I can't remember who else they played. But they played a lot of bad teams. Now, obviously, this last win was a good one.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point you make. I think there's also a pretty fair argument that the Lions have done the same. Obviously, the Lions smacked around, or really, they put up a 50-burger ding on the Bears, as well as smacked around a couple of the other teams. But regardless, Tampa Bay is a hot team on a streak right now, coming into a very angry Detroit Lions team. And, Dan Campbell does not lose 2 games in a row very often.
I think St. Brown said it hasn't happened since his
rookie season, 21.
Well, see, that's a skewed stat, though.
Because we lost Commanders, then we lost to Green Bay.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was a season apart.
That's a regular season game.
That's a season apart.
Ticky-tack, dude. Ticky-tack.
I still count it.
Let
me tell you something else real quick about this Tampa Bay game. I told you guys at the start of the year that Hutchinson was going to be Defensive Player of the Year, and he's going to break the sack record, right? So he's not really on pace to do that. He's got 6 sacks, which is pretty darn good.
He is the Vegas favorite for Defensive Player of the Year right now.
Is he? Okay. Well, if you remember, he had, I think, 3.5 sacks against Tampa Bay last year. We still lost the game, but he had 3.5 sacks. 4.5 in one game?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I don't think he went against.
So maybe he does that again.
He was going up against backup tackles. That was the whole thing the whole year last year.
The next game was Dallas, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Was it? No.
Yeah.
There was a
No. That was the second game of the year when he played.
Dallas was in week 5.
That's
Bucs
right.
was week 2.
Second game.
Yeah.
Memories.
But hey, if the offensive line's banged up this year,
Was that a Cats
game,
reference you just made right there, Josh?
What's that?
Is that a Cats reference
maybe he
just right
can
there?
replicate that and catch up to my prediction.
All right. Well, since we got you on the phone, it's time to find out how bad you did last week.
Come one, come all. It's time to open the smoky doors as we venture into Cousin Lyle's Casino.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't see Blofeld back
Yay.
there. But,
Not that you can see.
All right, guys.
Don't look at that mirror over there. You don't know.
Welcome back
Could
to
be
the
one way.
casino. Let's recap how you guys did last week real quickly from week 6. First question that we had was about Jamison Williams, over or under 2.5 catches in this game. Obviously, JMO was a bright spot, I think, and when you look at the total of things, led the team in catches and yards, 6 catches, 66 yards. Both of them, like I said, led the team.
Eerie set of numbers right there.
I know. It is spooky season.
That might have been what happened. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so he was over. Now, if you guys remember, Jacob, Josh, and Brad, you guys all took the over on that one. You knew that he was going to be involved in the game.
I had a feeling.
And I took the under just to make sure that we weren't putting the graphic up, so I ended up taking the L on that one. So 3 out of 4 took the over there. Good job on that one.
Not everybody can be good.
But I did get my revenge on the next question. Who leads the Kansas City Chiefs in rushing in this game? It ended up being Isaiah Pacheco. He ended up with 51 yards on the game. Patrick Mahomes, who was their leading rusher for the season up to that point, and still is at this point, obviously, he did have 32 yards in the game, so he was the second leading rusher. Kareem Hunt, 23 yards.
They really need a good running back.
That game would have been closer, though. I think it would have been Mahomes. I think they just kind of went into the run just to burn clock. So,
and I mean, I think Pacheco was getting a few yards here and there at the end of the thing. So
and when he ran into DJ Reader, he just went over.
So again, I was the one that took Pacheco in that game. Brad and Josh both took Patrick Mahomes. Jacob, you had Kareem Hunt in that one, so I get the gold star for that one. Next question here, the linebacker trio of Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, and Derek Barnes, do they get over or under 20.5 tackles in this game? Well, it didn't feel like I thought they had the kind of impact on the game, but There were a lot of plays run by the Chiefs here. So the combined here, Alex Anzalone, 12 tackles in that game.
I said he needed to have a good game, and unfortunately wasn't good enough. But
Captain Jack had 8. Yep. Derek Barnes with 4. So combined, that's 24 tackles. So the over hits on that one, which means that Jacob and Josh both got that one. Me and Brad took the under on that one. So we lost out. Finally, last one. Are there going to be more Lions touchdowns in the Chiefs game or more Red Wings goals in the Saturday night game against the Toronto Maple Leafs? You'll be happy to know, boys, because you don't watch hockey.
I didn't watch the game.
The Red Wings defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-3 in that game. The Wings had 6 goals. The Lions,
returned to hockey town, huh?
That's right. The Lions, of course, only had 2 touchdowns in that game after looking like they were going to get off to a good start.
Should have been at least 3, but yeah.
And so the Red Wing goals take it, which means that me and Jacob took the Red Wings on that one. Brad, you took the Lions, so you took the collar on that one. And then Josh with the very adventurous even pick did not hit, but I do commend the try there. So overall, Jacob, 3 out of 4 from the casino. You took a little bit of money from the casino this week.
And I'm gonna use that money, and I'm gonna
parlay it into.
That's right. You're going to let it ride.
We're going to let it ride.
There you go. Josh and I both came out 2 out of 4, so 50-50. We're treading water there. Breaking Brad was breaking bad in this one. He was 1 for 4 there. But you know what? It's a new week. Yeah. It's time to try your hand. Let's get to the new one.
Let me cash my chip in.
Yeah, I'm going to cash mine in too as well.
Look at this.
Brad, we got one for you as well. We're going to be giving we're basically laying our chips on the table, so.
Yeah, we got the casino, literally. The Cousin Lyle casino chips here with the outside the barn, then inside the barn logo. So yeah, I mean the goodies just keep coming. So again, anybody out there, subscribe, comment. Let's get some
edition coin.
Yeah, let's get some freaking merchandise.
Totally forgot about the call to action. Sorry to interrupt the Cousin Lyle's Casino, but yeah, every 25 subscribers we'll be doing a giveaway. So make sure you subscribe. Comment below as well. We'll be picking from people who comment. What's your favorite Lions memory, or what made you a Lions fan? The quality of the comment doesn't matter. Just keep it civil in the discussions, my friends. But yeah, let's get you a whiskey glass and some other cool merch.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what the monetary value is of these.
It's priceless to us.
There might be something ratio to unicorns. I can't remember what the office quote is, but
I love
for what it's going to do to Lyle's ego. It's priceless.
I love this Cousin Lyle's Casino. You're feeling lucky, punk. Beautiful. Awesome. Well, let's take these chips and put them on the table here. Let's get on to week 7. I don't know where that came from. Week 7 in the casino.
We won in week 4. We want to get back to winning ways.
We do. Yeah. We like the feelings from weeks 2 through 5 a lot better. Okay, week 7, guys. Brad, you're up at the table as well here, so we're all picking. Very simply, this number 1 question here. Who's going to have more yards in this game? Is it going to be the Detroit Lions offense or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Now, the Lions currently rank 11th in the league in total yards per game at 353.7 yards a game. Tampa Bay currently ranks 12th in the league at 353.5. That is a 1-yard difference, boys. There's a 1-yard difference on that. So they're very even in terms of their total offense right now. Game. Of course, we know the Lions have some injury concerns on the defense that could play into this. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about, Tampa Bay has some offensive injury concerns here. So we're going to be picking this just on overall yards. Jacob, who do you think has more yards in this game, Detroit or Tampa Bay?
I'm expecting some pretty good defensive play from our linebackers, defensive linemen specifically. I'm hoping to win the takeaway battle, so I'm actually going to give them more yards to Tampa because I have a good feeling we're going to be starting in some better field position. So,
all right, Tampa Bay with the more yardage in this one, according to Jacob. Josh, do you agree?
I do agree. And I'm going to say it's because our special teams is going to bring us into short field.
I like that
advantage.
Let Khalif, Raymond,
sailors
go to the races. Yeah,
Craig.
So 2 Tampas in a row here, Brad. Are you going to hop on the train, or are you going your own way?
I think they're crazy. If you guys remember from last year, even though we lost against Tampa Bay last year, Detroit doubled them in yardage
Yeah,
so
because
they
we
had
turned the
twice
ball
as
over.
many yards last year, but lost the game. It was kind of crazy that hardly ever happened. So I'm definitely going with Detroit.
Yeah, but we're flipping that this year. For the same reason that they beat us, we're going to beat them. Short field.
All right.
We just couldn't get in the red zone last year, so they were moving the ball, and they're going to move the ball this time too.
So
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying Tampa can move the ball, so can the Lions. I just think I mean, more
1
faith in
yard,
the Lions'
1
defense.
yard difference. It's about as even as you can get here. I am going to agree with Brad. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions on this one. I do think that
I thought he was supporting us for a
there's
second.
I
want my chip back.
There's a sneaky problem with the Tampa Bay passing defense. I think they're actually 20th against the pass right now so far.
Ooh, I love hearing that.
And I think that there's going to be, some
Good
commitment
Vegas
to
always
that.
holding that information from us.
Yeah, to the last minute.
Yeah, House always wins, I guess.
Somebody called in late.
So we've got 2-2 on that one. The next question 2, will the Lions defense hold the Bucs to under 100 yards rushing in this game? So some factoids here. So far, the Buccaneers have run for 656 yards in 6 games, which means they're averaging 109 yards a game, which would be over 100. However, the leading rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bucky Irving, is very doubtful to play in this game. In fact,
absolutely.
I believe that their Coach Bowles said, you're not going to see him. Also, you got to figure on Baker Mayfield's mobility in this game. He is averaging 7.2 yards per rush for the season. So with all that in mind, I'm going to go turn it over to Josh. Josh, do you think that Tampa Bay is going to go over or under 100 yards in this game?
I'm going to go under with Mac coming back. Plus, I think when we get into matchups, I'll allude a little bit more to that. But, yeah, so under.
Josh is going under. Brad, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I'm going to go under. It's not very common that the Detroit Lions allow 100 yards for one, and with their main running back out and offensive line issues, I just don't see them breaking out any big runs on us.
All right, so we've got 2 unders, a very homerish crowd going. Jacob, you going to join them?
Yeah, I work at Springfield Power Plant, I'm quite a homer myself.
Hit the red button.
No. Brad and Josh kind of combined took what I was going to say, so I'm going to say the Lions. Or under, my bad.
All right, so that places me in the very unenviable position of am I going to take it to save the graphic?
I am contrarian.
I am not. I do
Coward.
think that this is
Coward.
This is an easy under. I do think
you predict them. Oh no, hold on, that was last week.
That was last week. I didn't predict anything about this game yet. Yeah, I do think that McNeil coming back, you've got DJ Reader up there. You're going to have even more rotation in the defense there. And Bucky Irving being out, I mean, Rashad White is just nothing special. So if you're counting on maybe Baker Mayfield to break 3-4 runs of 10 yards or more, that's the only way I think they're going to get it. So we've got a clean sweep there. So depending on how you feel about us out there, people, maybe go put your money all on the over on that one. Question number 3. Will the sun god rise again? Amon-Ra St. Brown, over 80 yards plus at least 1 touchdown. So what I'm saying is that there was a rough game for Amon-Ra last week, only 45 yards on 10 targets. And, of course, that crucial drop that Breaking Brad referred to that really kind of took a lot of the momentum away from the Lions there. In his previous 4 games before that, he was averaging 90 yards a game on average with 6 touchdowns in that period of time. Of course, Amon-Ra, like we talked about, he's already taken some accountability for his drop on the podcast and the game overall. He is going to be fired up to redeem himself. So I have juiced these numbers a little bit. I think that you'll see lower numbers in most of your betting websites, but I've juiced them a little bit. I'm saying he's going to have over 80 yards and at least 1 tutty, which is an excellent fantasy game for those that play it out there.
God, yeah.
So we're going to go to Brad first for this one. Do you think Amon-Ra is going to have that kind of a bounce-back week?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't say a bounce back because he did play well. He dropped 1 pass because he caught, I think, 9 of those 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, that's right.
He didn't end up with a touchdown. Yeah, I think he will just because, first of all, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think consistently and I think he's going to be pissed off about that drop. I bet he's thinking about that drop I mean, again, it was such a crucial play, so I think he's going to be ready to go, and I was actually going to say the guy I think is going to have a big game for the Detroit Lions this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to come out like, I'm not going to bet that he's going to be at 200 yards or anything, but he's going to have a big game. So yes.
And this just in from Allen Park, they have to have replaced the jugs machine because Amon-Ra wore it out.
Very likely. All right, Jacob, you going to jump on the train there?
I absolutely am. Amon-Ra St. Brown is our best offensive player, not named Penei Sewell. He does not like to have, he plays with a big chip on his shoulder. He practices. He works harder than anybody, according to, Dan Campbell. He does not want to have 2 bad games in a row, and he is going to be taking that one crucial drop incredibly personal. So I expect a monster game from him, especially if they're going against the 20th ranked pass defense in the league.
All right, so we got 2 yeses on the board. I got a feeling where this one's going, but Josh, I'm going to ask you the question. Are you going to agree with the boys?
He's going to run the ball more.
Well, here's this kind of goes with what I was saying earlier. I think we're going to deal with shorter field position throughout the game. And on top of it, to go back to last week, I said that they were going to get J-Mo more involved with the short game, and they did. I think that they're going to be focusing on that as well. So him and J-Mo are going to be sharing some of the targets. He will get a touchdown, but I do not think he'll get over 80 yards.
All right. So Josh is going a no on that one.
I like that.
And
but for good reasons.
I don't like the lack of results. I like the rationale to it.
And it might be homer rationale, but involving J-Mo in the short game is going to eventually open up that long game, in my opinion.
Smart.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was funny because I was counting on 3 yeses, and I was going to take the contrarian no position here. I thought that I had kind of juiced these numbers enough where everybody was going to take them, and then I could just say, nope, I don't think it's going to happen. But again,
what a lame-o.
Is it the house?
Yeah, the house was trying to slip one by the boys there. But we've got, as a result of that, we do have yeses for Brad and Jacob over 80 yards and a touchdown. No for Josh or Lyle.
I would have thought
either
the 2 young guys believe in St. Brown. The 2.
It's not that we don't believe in him. Like I said, I got short game, and J-Mo is becoming part of that. So,
all right, let's debate it later, boys. Let's get through the number 4 question. All right, who kicks the longer field goal in this game? Is it going to be Jake Bates or is it going to be Chase McLaughlin? So think about this. Jake Bates matched his career long of 58 yards in the Browns game back in Week 4. He's done that twice in his career. He's gotten the 58. In a Week 4 loss to the Eagles, Chase McLaughlin actually hit a career-long 65-yarder in that game. It was a loss, but he did kick that a heck of a long way. The Lions and the Buccaneers have played some tight games lately, so it really could come down to one of these two making a game winner. So who do you think kicks the longer field goal in this game? The Master or Mr. McLaughlin here? We're going to go back to Jacob. What do you think?
Josh's son Calvin put up a pretty good stat against Jared Goff in the blitz. And you got to let me cook here. He's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz right now. Todd Bowles is a pretty good defensive mind, has been for a handful of years now. And I do expect the Lions to be able to move the ball a little more easily. I mean, Baker's in the MVP conversation because he's willing these drives, he's willing some of these performances, but I do think the Lions just stop the run enough, and if they can just blitz Baker enough, I think that they could work it out, and I don't want to bleed too much into my matchup of the game. But I do expect the Buccaneers to be, more often than not, within long field goal range than the Lions this time around. So I'm going to go with McLaughlin.
All right, so Chase McLaughlin for Jacob. Josh, who you want to take in this game for the longest field goal made?
Similar reasons. We're going to be dealing with shorter field position, and the Bucs are going to have to kick it longer if they want to get on the board.
All right, so that's 2 for Chase. Brad, do you want to join the boys here? Or are you going to take the Master?
I'll probably join the boys, but just to clarify, are we talking about kicking a field goal or kicking and making a field goal?
Yeah, it's got to be a made field goal.
Okay, it's got to be made. I'm going to go just because I don't think I don't know. Again, I think the Lions are going to be really motivated to get that ball in the end zone because, again, the problem they had last year with Tampa Bay is they were horrible in the red zone. It was like one of the one or two bad. I mean, they were really good in the red zone last year, and that was the one game that really skewed their stats because they were like 1 for 7, if I remember. And so I think that is going to be something where the Lions are going to figure that out. So there won't be a lot of field goal kicking for the Lions.
Plus, they got to get back to the number one, points in the season. They just got surpassed by the Colts.
Wow!
Shout out to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it? So we've got 3 on the board for McLaughlin. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to give some Jake Bates love here. I do agree with you guys. I think that the chances for field goals on Tampa Bay's side are going to be more active than with the Lions. I think Todd Bowles is a little bit more of a conservative coach, defensive mind, like you talked about, wants to get the points when he can get them. So they'll probably, chances are more that they're going to have more Tampa Bay attempts. But all it takes is one, and we know that if they're going to have to call on Jake Bates when they're back at the 50-yard line and it's 3rd and 7 or 4th and 7 or something like that, they'll go ahead and let him try one in those circumstances from 50, 60 plus. So I'll get the save on the graphic up here. I'll take Jake Bates. Everybody else has Chase McLaughlin in his game. So that is the casino for this week. May Lady Luck travel with you wherever you boys may go.
All right, thank you, Cousin Lyle, for opening up the casino and fueling our gambling addiction. So, once again,
not sponsored by FanDuel.
Not sponsored by FanDuel or any other sports book. Outside the Den, Inside the Barn does not encourage sports gambling because you will never beat the house. No matter what nice parlay you do hit, they will come collecting in the end. Unless they decide to sponsor us, then maybe we'd change our tune. But we do not encourage sports gambling
they're gonna have to
as of
pay.
October 15th, 2025.
Montgomery running through defensive wall. St. Brown catching every single call. Playoff bound now.
This upcoming Monday night, the Lions travel back to Detroit to host the, I believe, the current 1 seed in the NFL, I believe, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers with, I believe, MVP candidate Baker Mayfield, honestly my current favorite non-Detroit Lion in the NFL. He's a gamer, leading a pretty high-powered offense, as Breaking Brad said earlier in the program. Winning a lot of games by single digits, winning a lot of close games, and then finally pulling away with a fairly dominant win this past week. According to some of the sports books right here, at least on ESPN Bet, the Lions open up a 5.5-point favorite.
Wow.
Obviously, they get the 2.5 to 3 points for being the home team, but they are still considered by many to be the favorite. Obviously, the Ford Field influence with the fans is pretty significant. Ford Field has become one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. Their money line is a pretty respectable -250, so a lot of Vegas is expecting, if this is not a trap one, to try and convince people to bet the Lions. And then a pretty high point line right here, over 52.5. These are both two high-scoring teams going in against one another. 2 very capable quarterbacks, pretty good offenses, especially the Buccaneers. If they were 100% healthy, oh my gosh, their offense would be nuts. Mike Evans is out for this game. Chris Godwin, their wide receivers 1 and 2s. Emeka Egbuka, rookie wide receiver out of Ohio State, potentially could be the offensive rookie of the year. He's looked dynamite. I know he's questionable for this game. He is nursing an injury right now. He got in this past game. But overall, and then obviously the Lions have their defensive issues as well, at least in regards to injury. Signed cornerback Kendall Fuller out of the free agent pool this past week. I'm expecting him to play this week. I mean, we saw Trey Flowers suited up as well.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get him a little bit more familiar with the playbook, so he's not wondering where he's got to be.
No, that's going to be a huge part, as well as Aleem McNeil. One of our
he knows the playbook.
One of our big help. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes kick off this renaissance we're seeing of the Detroit Lions. He is going to be back. Probably, on my assumption, would be a pretty limited snap count. I'm expecting about 20 snaps for him.
I saw 25 is what I saw.
25, hopefully on a lot of passing downs because between him, Reeder, and Tyleek Williams, if they're all healthy, Aleem McNeil is the one that has that pass rush upside compared to the others who, in Tyleek Williams' defense, man, he gets his hand on the ball if they try and throw it across the line. So he did that at Ohio State last year. He's been doing that in the NFL this year. But yeah, so really quick, kind of breezed over all of that. We're going to go through, mention a matchup that we all want to highlight. And I'm going to start with Breaking Brad himself in case he does need to dip out here shortly. So, Brad, do you have a positional, a coach, position group, player versus player matchup that you want to highlight for this upcoming game against the Buccaneers?
A quick question before that. Is Evans, he's out, isn't he? Or is that not fully determined yet?
I think it's they expected him back in practice. It was going to be a question of how fully he could go. It's a hamstring injury, so it's one of those things.
He's an older player,
touch and go kind
He's
of
never
thing.
had a season under 1,000 yards. This season's looking like to be the first one.
Yeah, if I were to guess, they were kind of trending towards him thinking that he could make it in this game, especially with it being just a day later.
So it's not fully determined he's not playing.
Right.
And then Godwin, it sounds like he's out, right?
He's definitely out.
His ankle exploded in the playoffs last year, so he's for sure out. He has.
So I mean,
and then
Egbuka
is getting an MRI.
Yeah.
MRI, so
Yeah.
they really don't know on
okay.
that one
They
as
won't
well.
be at 100%. But Kirby Joseph, if he does play, he won't be at 100% either.
Exactly.
So
Well, just inject him with whatever they did in the last game where he looked like he was not
no,
going to be able
if
to walk.
he's not 100%, you sit him. No, if he's 100%, you sit him.
Yeah, but this is kind of a must win, I think.
It is a must.
That
win.
needle goes anywhere near his knee, I'm out.
Yeah. Okay.
Varsity
Mox.
Blues.
Yeah. Okay, Mox.
I saw something on a Detroit sports station about this doctor that talks about injuries and doesn't really have the inside knowledge, but he used to work for the Red Wings, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch that at all, but he'll comment on some of these injuries, and he was saying like they wouldn't give him a shot in that tent. So if he got a shot, it would have been at halftime in the locker room. Anyway, long story short, that secondary of Lions that's beat up, and then the receiving core that's beat up, that's going to be the interesting thing for me, because whoever wins that battle, I think, has got a good chance of swinging the game
He's got
their
the
way.
better practice squad.
Right.
Yeah.
Practice,
So that would be
squad
mine.
versus practice squad. Probably the only time that'll come up in the matchups.
Well, and this is where the preseason actually comes into play, where you those guys that you watched in the preseason. And
But
see what
every
they can do.
team gave time to their starter, or most teams give time to their starters, took away practice squad reps. And what the Lions do?
Yeah.
They gave their practice squad all the reps.
because they knew that we were going to need them.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too is you don't have a lot of tape on some of these guys, so if they're throwing some practice squad guys, you don't know exactly what they could do. I mean, and same with the defensive players. I mean, I guess with the Lions, and Amik Robinson can do, and what this Fuller can probably do, and that's that sort of thing. But with the offense, with Tampa Bay, you probably don't have a ton of knowledge on what kind of routes they're comfortable running and all that sort of thing. But anyway, that was my matchup that I think is going to be interesting.
I like that. All right. Brother Josh, what matchup do you want to highlight?
Well, I think the strongest weapon that they have is in Baker Mayfield versus our edge rushers. If we can contain him and prevent those yards. I took yours. I kind of took.
You took 50% of mine.
Okay, I was gonna say I probably was picking the obvious one. Last week I went with I thought the obvious one with the refs, and guess what? I mean, simply put, contain him, keep his yards down, and make him throw the ball to practice squad guys.
Cousin Lyle.
Yeah, I want to focus on since we were talking about the return of the MAC. And again, the Buccaneers are injured up front there. They've got their right tackle is out, I think maybe for the season, but definitely out. Their guard, Cody Mauch, who's the guy that's got the missing teeth up front,
awesome.
the mullet and everything. He's out. So I really think that this is a game where we can push that pocket from the inside there, especially if we've got Aleem coming in and creating that rotation there. I look for this to be a game where we can eliminate the rush pretty easily without having to commit extra men to it, and then pushing the pocket on Baker. We just got to make sure to contain on the outside. This is maybe a game where you do not get that full-on rush from Hutch and from Aquaman, because they got to make sure to contain Baker inside of it and just squeeze that pocket, as opposed to the out-and-out rush and maybe leaving some of those lanes up there. But I really am counting on a big defensive line performance from the Lions, because that is, like we talked about, that's where the strength of their defense is right now. That's what's got to bring them through on this game.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have two, because I had one I had cocked and ready to go, and then it is unfortunately kind of a mixture of what my two fellow hosts up here said. First one, simply, I think AQM and Derek Barnes against Tristan Wirfs. The Buccaneers have an absolute monster of a left tackle in Tristan Wirfs. There is a big debate in the NFC of who is the best tackle. The Eagles have Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. You have Jordan Mailata on the left. You have Tristan Wirfs for the Buccaneers on the left as well. And then obviously you have Penei Sewell on the right. And those are the guys constantly in the discussion in the NFC and league-wide of who's the best tackle in football. You have to assume you're going to put Aiden Hutchinson on the weaker of the tackles on the thing, because you want to try and guarantee pressure off the edge. And so I think it's going to be really up to Derek Barnes and AQM to really work Tristan Wirfs and just try and keep him from getting to that second, third level on plays, as well as provide pressure. The other one, as I mentioned, I am a big fan of Baker Mayfield, significantly less of a big fan when we're playing against him. But I do think, and we got some practice against a much better running quarterback in Lamar Jackson. I think Jack Campbell versus Baker Mayfield is going to be really interesting, because Baker Mayfield, unlike Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes, who are more than happy to slide and get out of bounds, Baker Mayfield's he's a gamer, man. He is going to put his body on the line, sometimes recklessly, but not as recklessly as some, to get that extra yard, to get that first down. And Campbell, as you know, is not afraid to hit a quarterback if they are not sliding. So I think Campbell's going to have his work cut out for him, just trying to keep track of Baker, especially if McNeil and the other guys can blow up the interior, provide that pressure, bouncing him to the outside. And especially if Wirfs and whoever their backup tackle is playing on the right side is able to push AQM and Aiden Hutchinson upfield, where he can kind of dip under and go outside. So I'm expecting quite a bit of spy play, because Baker is the single best player on their team, but definitely on their offense, and he is going to be working with a less than stellar cast. I mean, being out potentially your wide receiver 1 and 2, maybe even your 3, as well as your running back 1. And Bucky Irving stripped that job away from Rashad White last year and did not look back. So it's also my fantasy team had some pretty good games for me this year, but obviously we won't most likely be seeing Bucky Irving this week. But yeah, those are the highlights, or the matchups I want to highlight, just because, we talked about it a bunch. It's funny that some of these injuries are kind of washing out against each other, right? Or our injuries are in spots where they also have injuries, or their opposing spots will be there. So I think it's going to be really also just who's going to be the better quarterback this week. Is it going to be Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield? And as of this point in the season, it's kind of hard to just take Goff over Mayfield, because Mayfield is playing fantastic. He's playing lights out, and he's really willing that Buccaneers team.
So interesting thought on this, though.
Go ahead.
Do you know who has the higher QB rating between Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield? It is Jared Goff. He's got 120 rating, as opposed to Baker Mayfield having 105. David Montgomery has a 118 quarterback rating, by the way, though.
And it would have been higher.
And it would have been even higher had that play stood. Yes.
Go ahead, Brad.
I should be playing quarterback.
I was just laughing, but I'll just say real quick, if Campbell can chase down Worthy, he can chase down Mayfield.
That's true.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Well, you can't dodge Jack Campbell, because he's going to run. He is going to knock you on your butt. But yeah, no, but at the end of the day, too, what stat matters the most, though? The win.
Yes.
The win column.
That number in the win column. So,
absolutely.
And Baker has more of those this year than Jared Goff does. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny? I know we're early in the season, but a couple of I think the Patriots are playing the Titans or something this week.
Yes.
They're playing a really weak team.
Yes.
And they're going to be 5-2. The Patriots are going to be 5-2.
Drake May is looking
You know,
good.
same record. If the Lions win, they're 5-2.
Yeah.
So, and the bad part about this is, you know, if Green Bay is to win against Arizona, it's at Arizona. I think that's going to be a tough game for Green Bay, but Green Bay obviously will be favored in it. And the Lions, if the Lions beat Tampa Bay, Green Bay goes to the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Well,
So
they're gonna act
we'll
like
be
they
helping
belong
the
there
Green
the
Bay
whole
Packers
time.
out.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
So let them have their fun for a couple weeks. We'll get them.
That's right.
Thanksgiving's just around the corner.
Jake's voice fills my head. Says he's got the government.
We do have to go to the actual gambler on the, well, I guess technically Lyle too, but the actual gambler on this podcast. We're going to go to Jake's lock of the game. And Cousin Lyle, if you'd like to give a reminder to not only us, but our audience, what was Jake's lock of the game against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, Jake was looking into the crystal ball and came up with a Jameson Williams anytime touchdown in the Chiefs game.
And Josh, did Jameson Williams get a touchdown anytime in that game?
Yeah, I do recall him. It didn't look like he was going to, but you know, with his speed, he broke through. And
Oh yeah. And you know, I got a call from one of my best friends. He wanted me to specifically ask who am I feeling for a touchdown. I told him on the podcast, J-Mo is going to have a nice game, and J-Mo did in fact have a pretty nice game. And guess what? That is another one for Jake in the win column. That was a lock.
Yep.
your
Jameson
favorite segment
Williams
again,
touchdown.
huh?
Yep.
For this week, we'll see how we go.
Yeah. So again, that gets you to 500 on the
Hey,
season.
you know
3
what?
out of
There's a
6.
chance.
Yep.
You're saying there's a chance. All right. So I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to throw back to week 1. This guy did not play as bad of a game as I feel like we all maybe you thought. Thank you to Brad for pointing that out. Did have a crucial drop. This guy does not like to have bad games more than once in a row, or more than twice in a row, right? I think this handsome man right here, the sun god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is going to have a pretty darn big game. Most of us predict it. Most of us have said it in the Cousin Lyle's Casino. And I'm going to say St. Brown gets an anytime touchdown. I'm not going to get zealous and make it a parlay because I absolutely would make it a parlay. But because last time I did that, I missed out on a potential win in that Cleveland game. But Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown, keeping it a little safe this game, but that's only because that's how confident I am in number 1-4 for the Detroit Lions to score a touchdown. And Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown, odds are not going to win you a lot of money just because he is the best offensive player on this team that actually is a skilled position player. But St. Brown touchdown, anytime lock, that is Jake's lock of the game this week.
Something's gonna rise. We're gonna feast. We're gonna feast. 50 burgers.
And now time for Dev.
We didn't
We're
do
gonna
score
do
predictions.
score predictions.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Okay. All right. So, all right. So now before we get to Steve's crazy play game again, whoa, I got my my outline all messed up.
Hey, you wanted to get to that crazy play.
I did. I'm so
understand.
curious. We had a week off of it.
Right.
But we're going to talk about our score predictions for the game. You know, once again, Lions are a 5.5 point favorite. And I always forget who I started with. So we're going to start with Brad on the phone. I know I didn't start with him last week. Brad, what do you think of the score of Monday Night Football, Detroit Lions hosting Tampa Bay is going to be?
I'm going to go 34-17 Lions.
34-17 Lions. Nice. Big brother Josh?
I'm going to go 34-20 Lions.
Ooh, okay, just creep in a little bit.
Right. No, seriously. Wait, okay, this is mine. Ready?
Go for it.
Ready?
34-21.
34-24.
Oh, 24. All right.
34-24.
Someone's
Lions.
spinning that Price is Right dial and just trying to get that dollar.
All right. You guys will never guess what my prediction is.
28.
17-13.
31-28 Detroit Lions.
There you
I'm
go.
breaking that 34. 31-28 Detroit Lions. I expect it to be a close one. The Bucs are going to keep it close. Baker's going to find a way to keep them in the game. But really quick, Brad, your score one more time, if you remember.
34-17.
34-17. Josh?
34-20.
Lyle?
34-24.
And we got 31-28. And those are our score predictions for this upcoming game.
Steve's gonna blow your mind away.
All right. We are back after a bye week with Steve's crazy play of the game.
Okay. First of all, I did not listen to these guys because I may repeat something, but I didn't want them to disrupt my line of thinking. So, number one, I've said all along that the NFL office administration are all wimps. Well, I'm going after, what's his name, the president?
Roger Goodell?
Roger Goodell. That guy, he has no guts to stand up and put things right. He's more for cheating. And so he needs to be removed out of there. So there should be a campaign. And I don't know how many teams have been harmed by plays that went against them that is supported by a cheating commissioner or whatever you want to call it. So dump the guy. He should be gone.
Well, Lions fans are familiar with, organizing and protesting with the Millen Man March, so we'll have to do the
I would love to hear Roger Goodell's breakup album, by the way.
Goodillion Man March.
Anyways,
Do you have anybody that you would think would be a good replacement for Roger Goodell, or is
Nope.
it just a matter of getting him out?
somebody,
Bag of footballs.
I don't know. Barry Sanders.
There you go.
Barry Sanders.
No, he has too much integrity. He wouldn't favor the Lions as much as we want him to.
Yeah, it could be. But that's just to start off with.
Anyway. We're going to nominate you then.
No, because he's going to ban the running the football.
True.
I think Chris
Can't let that
Spielman
happen.
would be another one that wouldn't be bad. So, anyways, enough of that. There should be a campaign against the guy that's gutless. Has no interest in his product being honest, I guess. Is that something or
No, just
You're good. Keep talking, Dad. You're good.
okay? So that's my spiel on him. I could go on, but we don't want to talk about that anymore. These two guys right here have class, charisma. This is Gibbs, and this is St. Brown.
Didn't hear the hot mic that St. Brown had a couple weeks ago then.
Anyways, there's more Lions than that. I love Goff. But when you look at Patrick Mahomes, who you guys might like, he's a crybaby. Also, he's spoiled. The NFL spoils him and lets him get away with what they want because maybe it's Las Vegas or money that it brings
Atlantic
in with
City.
them. Yeah, that
Millions of
guy's
Swifties.
that guy's looks like a spoiled brat on the field. The next one that I want to go at is Andy Reid. He looks like a bad. He
Kind of looks like you a little bit.
I was going to
Dan.
say, I thought you guys would have maybe a little kindred.
Both like cheeseburgers. You both got great
No,
mustaches.
he looks like he was a bad boy when he was younger, and he was spanked and sent to his room without dinner.
I don't think he missed many dinners.
him and Wilford Brimley, I think,
I said that for a reason.
Jesus.
He has no class. No class. He complains about Campbell not apologizing to him.
You going to eat those nuggies?
Where was his apologizing for the performance or the actions that his players took? Silent. So where's that? So when you talk about a fair game, not there. I got a question for you guys, okay?
All right.
The answer is 42.
So we got Goodell and whoever else those Kansas City players are.
Yep.
Anyways, the play, drift back to Dallas, where that one play was called off, right?
Yep, Taylor Decker, eligible tackle.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I heard that they have to inform the refs before they do that play.
Right.
Is that correct?
Go
just for
over
the tackle eligibility.
They
yes.
go over the plays that they might run in the game and point
yeah.
out certain things about them. That is something that they have a discussion with the refs before every game, they say.
So why do they have to do that? You guys got to enlighten me
So
on
the
that.
refs can look for it, and they kind of pay attention to it and make sure that. One, they might tell them straight out, "Hey, that's an illegal play."
Yeah, and so, Dad, really quick context too. So a lot of lame NFL fans will point at the Lions doing some of the stuff they do, and honestly, the Chiefs, another trick play team, they really are. Hold on, let me finish. They'll point to them saying that they essentially are trying to cheat by making the game confusing, and that's another reason to have these meetings. Is so, hey, we have this crazy trick play we want to do, where this happens. We want to make sure that this is a legal play. Now, the one thing I haven't heard yet is whether or not that play was run by the refs, because you think that, once again, because you heard Jared Goff say, as long as his hands didn't go under the center, then he shouldn't have to get set, because that's the weird, obscure ruling, is that if they go under center, then if they go in motion, they have to stop moving. But then there are a bunch of other plays throughout the NFL where the quarterback is probably in shotgun, and that was a criticism I saw. That play probably should have ran out of pistol, which is like 3 yards away from the center, or out of shotgun to ensure that Goff could run up to the line and then move out wide. But that would have also kind of telegraphed more of a pass than a run.
I would like to go back and look at that Stafford play because it was kind of similar to that, wasn't it?
Which Stafford play?
Very similar. They called it the Philly Special, I think, is what they redubbed it when Philadelphia did it. But
when he goes out as a wide receiver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was in shotgun, though.
Was he? No. I swear he went up the line to call the protection.
I'm going to pull this up while Dad's still talking.
Okay.
Because I'm curious myself. Go ahead, Dad.
Let me go back. Okay.
I was answering your question.
Okay, my other question is, when did they start doing that?
They've watched
it for years. And did you ever see any plays pulled back like they do with the Lions?
Yeah.
You remember one? We remember Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
that's it.
But
to be fair,
how many other games are you watching, Dad? You're only watching the Lions.
We really only pay attention truly to the Lions and the primetime games. So.
Brad, I'm talking for years. I watched the Lions before you were born, buddy.
I know, but you don't watch any other team.
That would actually be one thing that I would probably counter on. Brad's probably been watching the Lions since he was
I don't know. But anyways,
you'd remember Josh. I wouldn't.
Anyways,
I'm a young guy over here.
Anyways, I
know.
We'll let that go. The thing about it is, I have seen some teams start using some trick plays. They're more and more doing that. And where'd they get that idea from? Dan Campbell. They haven't been doing that much at all. So here's my play for the game. And actually, again, I'm saying a lot of plays. I would have liked to seen Goff do the same play over. The one that they penalized him on, I would have liked to seen that again.
But throw it to somebody else so they don't know what to expect.
Well, whatever, but the same kind of play. So here I am getting excited about them playing the Buccaneers. So I want the play of the game to be plays of the game, and every other play be a trick play. Just use their whole setup.
Empty out the playbook.
And what you do is you tell the referees that you're going to do all these things, and then maybe they'll spend time looking at the rule book and won't have time to call penalties.
That's why it took a minute and a half for them to overturn that call.
See? So I'd say do one trick play after another or every other trick play. So that's Steve's trick play or whatever, silly play, crazy play, whatever you want to call it.
Every play?
Every play.
Every play is a crazy play in the next game.
Yep.
There you go.
And the reason why I'm saying that is if the NFL administration won't take the game seriously, then why should we?
No,
I almost want to say, but it's people's money, is everybody comes to the game but stands outside and leaves almost a vacant.
Well, you know who the biggest bet underdog was of the week, right? Last week. It was the Lions.
Yeah.
So it definitely helped. It definitely was in Vegas's favor for the Chiefs to win that game.
Well, and that poor guy who put down $5,000 to have Goff score that first touchdown.
Yeah.
He was $450,000 richer, and then a minute and a half he lost $5,000.
Well, it's hard for me to take this all seriously when they don't take it seriously as supporting the Lions as much as they do as the Chiefs, as much as they do as the Rams or the 49ers or the Eagles. All the teams that they take serious about, that's their league.
I'm still trying to figure out the Giants and the Jets, though, with New York being
the biggest market.
The biggest market there.
It's probably who anteed up the most money.
To be fair, both those teams have won a Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. But yeah, so Dad, what was your actual play? Because I was trying to pull up the Philly special for us to review, and I couldn't. So
his crazy play of the game is every game
one.
is a crazy play.
I wanted to do a trick play. Well, not every play, but every other play.
So what is the type of trick play you want to see the most if you had to pick one for this upcoming game in prime time on Monday Night Football?
I don't want to say.
He's not going to give it away.
This podcast.
The refs are going to be looking for it, and they're going to find a way to call it illegal.
That's right.
Fair enough.
Play the secrecy
Yeah.
that they do when it comes to extra payoffs or cheating with the rules and bending the rules so they can call it. Bird brains.
All righty. So I think that's all the time we have tonight. So once again, thank you to Cousin Lyle at the casino, my dad, Steve, with his crazy plays, brother Josh for sharing out his feelings, holding the Care Bear today, as well as Brad breaking some pretty big news this week. But yeah, so I'm Jake. This was Outside the Den. Inside the bar.
Outside the den.
I said outside the den.
You did. I'm going to say it ready. Okay, I'm ready now.
Leave it in.
This call is being recorded.
What?
The NFL officiating. New York's listening.
They're
to that.
recording us.
Outside the league.
This call is no longer
Outside
being
the league.
recorded.
What are you
Oh,
recording?
I think I hit a button by accident. Sorry.
Oh, that was Brad. Okay.
This is a
Brad's
disaster.
a mole. He's a mole. All right.
I hate it when my phone turns on like that and I hit it. But hey, Dad, real quick, I love you to death, but I disagreed with almost everything you said. I think Mahomes.
All right. That was
I think
episode
Mahomes is a
7, going into
class
week
act.
7 of Outside the Den, Inside the Barn. I'm Jake. Here's Lyle. There's Dad. There's Brad on the phone arguing with Dad over the phone. There's brother Josh. We'll see you next week. Go Lions, one pride. Brad, sign us out.
Well, I was just going to finish saying I just and Mahomes. Well, Andy Reid's like, I don't. What makes him cry babies? I don't understand. But
Good night, everybody. We love you. Subscribe. Get some merch.
If they listen to this podcast, they're going to say, you know, who I think is cry baby. Steve Tkachuk.
We're not done here.
Oh my God!
Hey, Brad, go jump in a lake.
Podcast over. Signing off tonight. Wyatt Intimation. Everything's alright. Decided right tonight. Lions Nation. Everything's alright.
What's number 1 on the craziest football terms?
Hail Mary.
Icing the kicker.
Well, that's actually a good one because the 67-yarder.
Yeah. Sack, Super Bowl. I don't know how that's a crazy football term, but okay.
Just crazy, man. Super Bowl's just crazy.
I mean, it's crazy for us to think that we could make it.
Right?
Lions
fans.
Yeah. Flea flicker. Oh, you know what? We could do Wildcat.
Because that kind of was, yeah.
It was a Wildcat play. So, you want to do Wildcat? Or?
Wildcat.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Wildcat.
Everywhere.
This
How do you
one's
not
for
know
the
High School
team.
Musical, Lyle?
What's
Maybe
that?
because you're not a little girl.
Diamond rings.
I'll never forget
Football.
that. Just there being like a music trivia and it being a High School Musical song, and Lori's just like, well, hearing about it was just, how do you not know this? I'm like, why would you? Why would Lyle know that? I'd be more like, why do you know that?
We lost trivia by 5 points last night.
Oh, that
man.
blows.
5 lousy points.
Sounds like a skill issue.
If we are doing Wildcat, I think we do have to sing the song. Janine would be severely disappointed if we didn't.
I don't know what Wildcat song you're referring
This
to.
one's for the team, better than diamond rings.
Wow.
Football.
That's a flashback.
I just know Wildcats everywhere.
You've
from
never
High
seen the
School
movie
Musical.
Wildcat?
No.
Wildcats, actually.
Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
it was early 80s, so.
Yeah,
I wasn't alive then, dude.
I don't care, man. It's a football movie. You got to watch it.
I'm sorry. I grew up with High School Musical, dude. All right, breaking
That's
free.
your problem.
Get your head in the game, Josh. That's for Tori and Stephanie.